It's an interesting time in the market right now where units actually have got a place back in investment portfolios once more. In terms of in this location with this amount of money, would I be looking at a unit? The answer is no. But it is interesting you sort of bring that back up because it's coming back around where certain units for certain investors may actually play a decent role in their portfolio moving forward. Especially young investors starting out, stronger yields, potentially a lot of the time you don't get quite as much growth, but that isn't always the case. So it's always a bit of case by case, especially location wise. But for example, man, I bought this deal in Brisbane. It was a unit for 155,000 back in 2019. I just sold it for 450K. So the time of units coming back into their own, it is now. There's a few that they've done massive dashes like that. That thing's tripled, man, virtually tripled in that time frame. So there is value around that right now if you're knowing where you're looking. But in this equation, in this conversation that we're looking at, that's not the case. For me, for 650K in Victoria, I'm not talking units.
If I gave you a different budget, would it change your answer? Like in Victoria?
Look, if I was to go regional, I wouldn't be looking at units, right? I don't like units regionally unless I'm buying the block. And then we're talking a very different price point. But I've assessed that market within Melbourne as well. And I think for the money that you can buy in those markets compared to the housing markets you can buy externally and regionally, price point doesn't even really weigh into the equation for me right now with units in that market. I think there's better value elsewhere in housing external from Melbourne.